So now that's our second one. Now the third one is tracking. And what this means is knowing where you are. So when you're a tracker, it means you know where you are. If you're hunting something, then you know where it is. You're following its trail. If you're keeping track of how your business is growing, you are paying attention to where you are on the map. If you know where you're going, but you don't know where you are, you can't tell how to get there. So you always have to be looking at where you are. And great entrepreneurs are great at tracking. In fact, one of the phrases we learned as we worked with millionaires, both as investors, in real estate investors, and in real estate agents, is they said, the more my business has grown, the more I know my numbers. So write that little phrase down, the more I know my numbers. So when you say, how many sales did you do last month? Boom, they know. How many leads did you get last month? Boom, they know. And what's your conversion ratio? Boom, they know. What's your profit margin? Boom, they know. So you could ask them any detail about their business and its numbers, and great entrepreneurs know. They don't have to go, let me check with my accountant. Why? Because they are paying attention, right? They're making that investment. Paying attention is like an investment. I'm paying attention. And when I pay attention, so here's the thing that number 2 to remember on here, and that's what gets measured gets better, which is really interesting. What gets measured gets better. And one of the other phrases I love to use is feedback is the breakfast of champions. Okay, feedback is the breakfast of champions. It's why I have a coach. If I'm wanting to get in shape, I'm going to work with the ladies because I want their coaching, because they will give me feedback on my progress. Right? They'll encourage me. They'll show me how I did better this week than last week. I can feel the progress. So feedback is the breakfast of champions. If you think about all champions, great athletes will keep track of their stats, their batting average, their on-base percentage, the number of times they struck out. They'll keep track. Golfers will keep track of all their different scores. Great football players will watch the film from the game that they played on Sunday. They'll watch it on Monday, because just by getting the feedback, your performance improves. You don't even need critique, by the way. This is where people mix it up. Often they think you need feedback with critique. No, you don't. All you need is the feedback. Get the feedback on how it went. Listen to yourself on a tape. If you're practicing a sales presentation, record it. Make the sales presentation, listen to it. Do your 2-minute soundbite. Record it, listen to it. Immediately the next time you do it, it'll be better. Right? So it's the repetition and getting the feedback. So what happens in business is we keep track of our key numbers. On the budget line, we keep it very simple. Okay, we start with simple. We're talking about financial planning with the gang over here from Clue. They really, really help people make good financial decisions. Why? Because they give them the feedback, and things get better. But what they do is you keep a simple budget, and I would use a service like that to guide me as to what my budget should be, rather than trying to do it myself. I could do it myself, but it's really worth it to have a professional guide you and then put it on the right software program to do it. But just understand this. I want you to write down this kind of these four phrases. There are 3 letters each. REV minus COS minus EXP equals NET. So REV minus COS minus EXP equals NET. That's just it for it. What that means is that your revenue, so you always keep track of how much came in for this month or year or week. I mean, however, well, you definitely want to do it on a monthly basis, not less frequently than that. How much revenue came in? What was my cost of sale? Cost of sale is what I automatically pay off the top to someone else, a referral fee, some kind of fee that's just tied always to the sale. It might be a sales tax, would be a cost of sale. Then EXP is, of course, my expenses. What did I spend that month on salaries, marketing, equipment, utilities, whatever it's and keep, I would just say, make this note to yourself, start with fewer categories. When you're beginning to track your business as an entrepreneur, try and do fewer categories, not more. In other words, just have all your marketing and promotional expenses as one category. Have all your equipment and Technology expenses as another category. All the things related to your occupancy, rent, utilities, just one area. And the reason is because if you try and do it more detailed, it'll confuse in your mind what you're keeping track of as a small business person. Now, as you get bigger and you're more sophisticated, that now you want to say, okay, here in my marketing and promotion, here's what I spent on advertising, here's what I spent for my database, here's what I spent on my direct mail, here's what, you know what I'm saying? You'll start to get more detailed, but start simple. That's why I say keep it simple, K-I-S, keep it simple. Because that's always what's going to be easier to manage. And easier is better. I'm just in these kind of categories. Complexity messes things up. Now, what you're going to do is get a profit and loss statement every month. That is just an absolute must, any size business. Revenue minus expenses equals net every month. Now, what you do personally, that becomes another issue, and that is taking your net and saying, okay, out of my net, that's my take-home pay, my profit. Now I have taxes, investment, I have my personal expenses. Okay, you're managing your own finances. That's a good thing to keep track too. But we're talking here mostly your business right now. And just make a note, your balance sheet just tells you what your business is worth. And what that is, it's just assets minus liabilities. It's what do you own minus what do you owe. Don't put things like goodwill and all that in here. That's not a measurable commodity at this point. But you're saying, okay, I have this amount of equipment. This is what it would be worth today. If I went to sell it and got rid of my office furniture and all that stuff, or I have other dental equipment or whatever it is that I have, that's my assets. And then I have my debt, what I still owe on those things. What's left over is called stockholder share or retained earnings. It's what my business is worth. It's called a balance sheet. I just want to get that in mind. So, simple thing about a balance sheet, it's your assets minus your liabilities, what you own minus what you owe. And then that just tells you what your business is worth. And when someday down the road you sell it, then it'll be some multiple of what that is. It'll be some multiple, okay? But you want to start tracking it early because remember what we said? What gets measured gets better, improves. What you measure improves. So that's why you start measuring it right away. Now the other thing is this. As much as you can, grow on your own money. As much as you can in a small business, grow on your own money. The biggest mistake I see owners make is they borrow too much money. And so they get in debt and they do a little bit of the build it and they will come. And that is not a good launch strategy. If you have capital and you want to use it that way, then you can. But if it stretches, you don't. And what we say, here's another phrase to write under it, what we teach people is lead with revenue, not expenses. In other words, use all your energy to generate more business so you have revenue, and then when you have revenue, invest it in the business. That could be in marketing, in technology, in staffing. So once you have revenue, yes, you can reinvest it in the business to improve it, but don't lead it with expenses. Don't build it out. Don't add a lot of people until you know you have the revenue. So grow on your own money. That's the best way. Venture capital is only for the ones that are rolling the dice on big technology projects. And they do. I mean, you can't tell you the millions, probably billions of dollars that Amazon went through before it turned profitable. But now it's this massively juggernaut of a corporation. Same with Google, same with USA Today. But those are big ventures, and they had to grow on venture capital. You want to watch it for yourself. Now, here's the thing. Know your economic model. Underline it. Where does your money come from? That's really the answer. Where does your money come from? How do I get to it? What do people pay me for? How much do they pay me? How much do they pay me if they're with me once? How much do they pay me if they enter into a contract for my service multiple times? And one of the neat offers to make in business is like frequent flyers. Have a program for frequent users of your service if it's something that is repetitive. Because if you can get them under contract for multiple uses of your business, you have an asset right there, right? Because and you can give them a discount because that automatically gives them a committed flow of cash. So know your economic model. What do they pay? and then what does it cost me to deliver it? So that's your economic model. Now here's the simple, we're going to do two things and then we're going to do a little interesting break. Are you ready back there? Okay. People misunderstand accountability. I want you to underline the word accountability. Now this goes back to discipline 5, which is team building, but I want to hit it now. See, people talk about improving performance by holding people accountable. And that's really true. People who are held accountable perform better because they're being watched. That's what happens. But the thing is, accountability is not a disciplinary practice, although people tend to see it that way. And the reason you know is, people say, I want to hold them accountable, but they never like to be held accountable. And the highest achievers give someone else, a coach or a mentor, they give them the permission to hold them accountable. Because when somebody holds us accountable, we do better. It means they're watching, it means we're tracking the numbers, and it means that we're going to care about looking good in their eyes. So being held accountable does increase performance, but here's the key of accountability. It's the word in the middle, count, count. Accountability is just simply keeping track and feeding back. It's just simply keeping track and feeding back. So a good accountability meeting with an employee, it shouldn't be more than 10 minutes, is what was your goal? How did you do? How do you feel about that? What have you learned? What are you going to do now? That's it. There's no judgment. There's no, oh, you could have done better, or did you think of doing this, or it's not that. The accountability is simply a mirror that says, this is what you were going to do. Here's what happened. Do you have a feeling about that, like good, bad? And then what are you going to do now? So it's a simple process. And holding people accountable in that way is magical. You'll find it. You will improve performance on your team when you simply help them set goals, keep track of how they're doing, and then set new goals. That's accountability. Keep it simple. Now, there's 7 key numbers in a business, and Chaz and Dr. Ed and I are working to set up a system within Master Networks where it's easy for people to register their 7 numbers and to track performance and kind of compare themselves with other people across the country, other chiropractors, other health specialists, other electricians. And basically, here are your 7 numbers. They're there, but I want you to go through me with this. The first 3 are your productivity numbers: leads, appointments, sales. So that's how many people answered our call, called in, clicked on our website, responded to our ad, came to our open house, walked in the front door of the shop. So that's leads. 2 is, how many people did we get to meet with face to face? That's appointments. So maybe sometimes you do that over the phone, because we were talking about having financial clients in other states. So Clue may be providing financial services to someone they've never met, but if they talked over the phone, so that's an appointment. So how many times, how many of those leads turned into appointments, and then how many of those turned into somebody saying yes and paying you money? Right, so you're keeping track of those 3 numbers. Just keep it that simple, and track them on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. How many leads did I track that I got in my business? How many appointments did I have? How many sales did that lead to? Now, the next line are your financial. We've been through this, but it's just 3 numbers: revenue, expenses, and net profit. So those 3 things. Those are the 3 key numbers. Now, you can get into details on all those, but just if you had those 3 numbers every month, your business would absolutely improve financially, no question. And now the big one, we went back earlier, your database is your business. Write that down. Your database is your business. That collection of information of human beings whom you know their name and probably their short name, their nickname, if it's different. You know their phone number, their best personal email. That's what you want to ask people for. What's your best personal email? Even if it's a business contact, what's your best personal email? Because that's what people pay attention to. And then, of course, their physical address. So at least that. And then you can, if you really start to work a database, you'll start to add other personal information about them. Children's name, pet's name, interests, where they went to college, where they work. You can add that, and the richer make this note, the richer your database is about your clients and prospects, the more powerful it is. Because now, when you're sending out a note, say you're sending out a note to everyone in your database about an offer you have. If you can address it to them personally, Dear Dave, if you can sign it personally, or make a little typed in one-liner that says, how's your daughter in its first year in college? You know, hope your cat is healthy or something. No, wait, hey, be nice. But remember this, what you want to track is how many people are in my database. That's number one number. Number two is how many have I added in the last week or month. So now, and that's a good goal to have. I want to add 10 people a week to my MET database, what we call MET, people I've talked to enough to get their contact information. Even if they don't do business with me, even if you don't think they have a need for your business. Because what will they do for you? What will they do for you? Tell other people. They'll refer you. So they may not need your service, but they may really like what you said to them in the mailers you're sending to them, and they'll refer somebody. So don't screen this, about who's really going to be interested. Don't do that. Once you meet them and know them, if it's a local contact particularly, then you're going to put them in the database. So you're keeping track of how many are in it, how many have we added, and then how many times have we contacted them. That's the third number. How many times have we contacted them? So, if you have a database of 500 people and you send out a monthly mailer, boom, there's 500 contacts. This month, 500. Well, let's say you sent out 500 and then you called 50. You made a phone call to 50. It's a personal contact. Well, you may give a little more power in your program to your personal contacts. So these are the keys of tracking. These are the key numbers. This helpful? Is helpful? Okay. Now, what we're going to do, we're not going to take a break, but we do need to do a shake break. So here's what you can do. Stand up where you are. And ladies, if I could have Katie and Emily come forward. Here they come. Because these are the exercise. Zumba? Is that what we call this? Okay, so you get on that side, you get on that side. Okay, here we go. Over there. So we're going to do the 7 habits of highly effective people to Zumba. So what you have to do is, we're going to do the motions and we're going to do these slow, but you're going to have to imitate their body motion. And I'm with you. I'm going to do the same thing. I don't know if I can. I don't have quite the hip swing they do, but here we go. All right? So, the 7 habits of highly effective people to Katie and Emily. Here we go. It's be proactive. Okay, get the pose. Get the pose. I saw that. Okay, be proactive. Right? Begin. Got to get some. Come on, get some legs. Get some legs in this. Begin with the end. Oh, way up high. Okay, end in mind. Right? Do first things. What? First! Look at the pose. I like that. First. No, come on. Get a lean. You got to get a lean on this one.
Here we go.
First. Okay. What is it? Let's do it again. You ready? Do first things. First! Okay, I love that. Okay. Now it's what? Be. Win-win. Open it big. Your big chest open, right? You got to do the. Don't you have to do the chest? Oh, wait. Okay. Right? It's what? Be. Win-win. I don't see it. Dr. Ed, you got more hip wiggle than that, buddy. You're the one here with the loose back. So we ought to have the hip. Okay. Right? Okay. See first to understand. Okay, that's a subtle one. We're not doing, but this one is a big power move. It's what? Synergize. Okay, it's what? Synergize. And then, of course, ladies, it's what? Sharpen the saw. We got it. Okay, so guide us through a couple other exercises real quick here while what should we do? What do you want to do?
All right, yeah, let's do this one. Just kick your butt.
Okay, kick your feet up. Try not to knock the table over behind you or the person.
That's good. Let's open up because we've been sitting like
this. Okay. Can we do these both at once? I don't know. I guess this is the...
Hold on, wait, I've got one right here.
Oh no, we got this. One more. Oh, stretch.
And take a deep breath. That's right. And bring it down.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, really?
Touch toes.
Sweet. All right, here we go. Good work, good work. All right. See, who knew you were going to get an exercise class at the same time? No extra charge. Okay, be seated. Here we go. Now, we're going to go about 45 minutes, and then we're done. So we're going to roll this to the end. And yeah, if you need to run out, bathroom or something, go ahead and do it, or whatever. But right now, let's stay focused.